What's up, local people? How you guys doing? Welcome to Talking with Tumua, episode number 1. I'm your host, Tumua Tuinei, local stand-up comedian from Hawaii, and this is it. This is my podcast. I'm doing it, living the dream, something I've always wanted to do, something I've been planning to do, but I never really committed and started doing it until this past month. And basically, in this episode, I'm going to tell you guys my vision for this podcast / show. And I'll talk about myself, introduce myself to you guys, and talk about what's in my life right now, what's going on in my life, what I have set in the future, and maybe a few pointers for you guys for some motivation, Yeah, making a podcast is kind of like everybody's doing it now, like it's kind of not normal if you're not making a podcast and you're a comedian or in show business. It's kind of the way to go. I see the world shifting towards that, and I just got to hop on it and ride the wave. The hardest thing, I believe, is starting. That's what I heard. The hardest thing is starting. Once you do that, you on. And that's what we're doing right now, people. We starting, local people. We're going to start, small steps, okay? We just taking them small, because small steps climb mountains, okay? And what we going to do, we going to climb mountains. We climbing them. Mauna Kea, ayo. Anyway, yeah, so like this past month, I finally got all this podcast gear, It wasn't too expensive, but it's something I enjoy doing. I like audio. I'm a comedian. I'm always on the mic, and why not get your podcast gear, spend some money, and roll with it. So that's basically what I did this past month. Got all the gear, watched some couple videos about how to start a podcast and what you got to do. There's so many steps, so many obstacles you got to go over. But like I said, the main thing is just starting it, slowly moving up, baby steps. And that's what we're doing. And my vision that I have with this podcast, I basically want to interview people from Hawaii. Yeah, I know it's narrowing it down to pretty much local people, but you know what? That's all I want to do. I'm local. I'm a local comedian. I want to stay in Hawaii, stay loyal to Hawaii. And Hawaii, I love Hawaii. It's my home, and I want to interview the people of Hawaii. The celebrities, the successful. It doesn't have to be a celebrity. It could be just someone that I admire and I look up to. Athletes, comedians, actors, musicians, company owners, business owners, cooks, chefs, anything that I look up to, and I want to know their success, their story, their part of the story, and how they became successful, because, we all need that. It's something we can all, listen to and enjoy, Who doesn't want to find out, like, let's say, Colt Brennan, you guys familiar with Colt Brennan? Wonderful guy, wonderful quarterback, had a few setbacks. A lot of people don't know where he's at right now, but I met him a few times, and that's probably one of my guests I would like to have on the podcast and just talk to him and find out how he's doing and what he has in store. Basically just people in Hawaii, yeah. It's going to be fun. Basically, I'll probably have some podcasts where it's just me talking like this, rambling about topics in Hawaii or what's going on in this state. We got a lot of things going on with Mauna Kea, Kahuku, all these protests. Great to talk about. Some people may get heated up, but you know what? It's all opinions. It's all my opinion, and I'm just trying to share it with you guys. And hopefully you guys ride the wave with me and keep listening to this podcast. But so I'm a stand-up comedian, local stand-up comedian. I've only performed in Hawaii, on Oahu. I actually performed in Maui as well. That was for some fundraisers, just hula halau. They asked me, and it was awesome. First time performing outside of Oahu, my home. And it was a great experience. But yeah, I've been doing stand-up comedy for about, actually this January will make 3 years. 3 years doing comedy. And I love it. And I'm not going to stop. And I fell in love with it as soon as I started. And I want to keep going. That's why I'm doing this podcast. Hopefully it could help out with my comedy. Learn how to talk. Learn how to ramble. Talk on the fly. Yeah, I'm a stand-up comedian. I also, my day jobs, got a few day jobs, okay? I coach a flag football team. I love football. I played football in my life in high school and college. And so I do that. I coach a flag football team. I work part-time in Sand Island. I also work part-time construction. And I work part-time with the radio station, 93.1 The Paina. I'm slowly getting my foot in there. Basically learning how to DJ, how to use the controls. It's good practice. And then kind of helps with this podcast too, I guess. That's my background. People always ask how I got into comedy, because if you guys know me and you know me personally, my family members, my friends, they know that I'm a quiet guy. Yeah, and when they found out I was doing comedy, everyone was like, "What? Tumua, he barely even talk. What you mean you do comedy? How? No way, I gotta see this." Yeah, well, the joke's on you guys, okay? I do comedy and I do talk. In fact, this podcast is named Talking with Tumua. How's that one, huh? But I got into comedy at UH. So I went to University of Hawaii. I majored in communicology. People don't know what communicology is. I don't even know what it is. I took 4 years of it, and I still don't know what it is. Okay, it's something with communications. That's all I gotta know. That's all I gotta say. That's all I know. So it's a speaking part of communication. It's kind of like broadcasting, radio. I just took it because it was easy, I heard. And the teachers were cool and the classes were convenient. And came out right. Look what I'm doing now. Huh? So, things work in mysterious ways. God works in mysterious ways. Everything happens for a reason. I firmly believe that. Everything happens for a reason. But yeah, while at UH, I was playing football, majoring in communicology. I also minored in theater. Yeah, I wanted to be an actor from day one. That was my goal. I want to be an actor. I still want to be an actor. And that's kind of why I'm also doing comedy too. I realized that there's so many actors in the world, but the fastest way to acting is through stand-up comedy. If you look at all the big-time actors in the world, they all started off with stand-up comedy. Not all of them, but majority of them, okay? And I was hoping that would happen, but turns out I actually enjoy and love doing comedy, and I wouldn't mind doing this for the rest of my life and not even becoming an actor. I love it so much. So anyway, at UH, I took a stand-up comedy class. Yeah, I was trying to get the easy A. That's right. Getting the easy A boost up my GPA. I took it. I saw it. It was in the theater department. It was like Theater 696, I think, was the name of the class. And it's called stand-up comedy. This guy named Nick Murray. Shout out to Nick Murray. He was a teacher there. He's also a local stand-up comedian. I don't think he lives on the island anymore. He lives somewhere in the mainland. I don't exactly know where. Somewhere with an M. Like Michigan? I don't know. M from mainland. Anyway, Nick Murray was running the class, and I signed up for it. I didn't know what I was expecting. I didn't know that we had to perform in front of a live audience. I thought this was like the science of stand-up comedy. I thought we would learn like the process of joke telling and all that, but I was completely wrong. And I actually took the class with my friend, Hunter Hughes. He's a football teammate of mine at UH. We played together, and I just told him, "Hey, Hunter, we could take this class, bro. We could take him. The thing is stand up comedy. How's that, huh?" And he's kind of an artistic guy. He's a wonderful artist. He draws, and he's into art and all that. And he's like, "Yeah, man, why not?" You know. Sorry, that's my impression of Hunter. Yeah, we both took that class together, not knowing what to expect. And it turns out that was probably the best class I took at UH. How's that, huh? All that money I spent to be one comedian. That's one joke in itself, people. That's one joke in itself. Anyway, in that class, you can't really teach someone how to be funny. Yeah, you can bring the horse to the water, but you cannot make the water go in the horse. You cannot make the horse drink the water. Yeah, you can bring them to the water, but you cannot make them drink them. That's pretty much what that class did. Nick, he taught us how to find our voice. Find our character on stage, find what we like, what types of comedy we like, and he just gave us a few pointers. Told us to write some jokes, and he basically coached us up, gave us some few tips, how to deliver better, how to have better stage presence, how to read the crowd, simple tips that you can teach, but you can't teach to be funny. That got to be you. That got to be your personality. And basically, I took that class, okay? This was in 2017. In January, so in the springtime. I remember because I was 20 years old and my birthday was on January 21. And I remember him asking anyone, "Is anyone under 21?" And I raised my hand. I was the only one in the class. I realized I'm 20. He goes, "Oh, it's going to be tough performing because you got to be 21 to perform." So this is the first day he asked me. Immediately he said, "Oh, you're going to be tough because you got to be 21. And I was thinking, "Oh, shoot, we got to perform in a bar? You serious about this?" But I told him I'm going to be turning 21 in a couple weeks. And then he's like, "Okay, you're fine," because that's at the end of semester. You would have to perform in front of the bar. This was actually at Anna O'Brien's. I'll come to that later on. But anyway, so I took the class. And in that class, they teach you all these tips and how to be a comedian pretty much. And I enjoyed it. I loved it. We were assigned to watch all the greats: Richard Pryor, George Carlin, Jerry Seinfeld, Bill Burr, Patrice O'Neal, Mitch Hedberg, all the legends. Yeah, we had to watch them and study them, find their arc, find how they start the show, find how they read the audience. It's all great. I recommend anyone starting out in comedy, I recommend taking a stand-up comedy class. It's a great first step forward, and it forces you to write. We all need to write, and that class forced you to write. So I took the class, and at the end of the class of the semester, you're required to do 10 minutes in front of a live audience. And that was at Anna O'Brien's down near UH in downtown. And Jose Dynamite runs that show at Anna O'Brien's. Comedy U with Patrick Tyrell. Every Wednesdays at Anna O'Brien's. They have a show at 8:30. So I believe it was one of those Wednesdays. It was the School of Comedy. So all the people in our class, there was like 8 of us in there. So we all had to perform. And we had a whole semester to come up with 10 minutes and perform. I did that. I did the 10 minutes. And I did good. I did great, actually. Jose was there. He saw me. It's the first time I met Jose Dynamite. As soon as he saw my set, he just came up to me, gave me his phone numbers, we exchanged numbers, and then he's been booking me on shows ever since. Actually, the next day he wanted me to come to a show with Paul Ogata. And I didn't even know it was that big back then, but I didn't even know who Paul Ogata was, but now that I look at it, yeah, he's a well-respected and a great comedian. He came from Hawaii, and I got to open for him in like my second or third time performing stand-up comedy. So I was blessed, I got lucky. I know of people's path to comedy is tough. They do a certain amount of years of open mics, and then they slowly get on shows. They start off hosting, they start off featuring, and then middling, and then eventually headlining. I kind of was pretty much just thrown into the headlights and jumped right in. Actually, before I did that 10-minute show for my class at Anna O'Brien's, I performed with Augie T before that. That's right, I forgot about that. I thought it was after, but no, it was before. So during my class, yeah, like during the semester, I love Augie T. I love Andy Bumatai, Frank DeLimo, Raplinger. I love all those local comics. Those are my idols. So while I was learning comedy, I reached out to Augie T. I DM'd him on Instagram, and I told him, I said, "Oh, Augie, I'm doing stand-up comedy now," because I kind of knew Augie. He knows my dad, and my grandpa used to be a security guard when he was a kid during school. So he knows my family, but I didn't really know him that well. I did an interview for one of my Hawaiian classes with local comedy with him before I decided to become a comedian. So I met him personally in his studio and all that at his radio station. I met him, and we exchanged numbers, and we followed each other on Instagram and all that. This is before I even thought about doing comedy. So when I DM'd him when I was in the class, my stand-up comedy class, I DM'd him and told him, "Oh, yeah, doing comedy now, trying it out." And he was all stoked for me, and he goes, "Yeah, Brock, just come to my show at Coral Creek in Ever Beach. I make you do 5 minutes before me." And the show was like next week, okay? And this is when I'm like in the middle of my class, in the middle of the semester, where I don't even have like 5 minutes. Maybe I do, but it's horrible. I don't even know. It's stupid. It's not even funny. My material wasn't even funny. He told me, "Yeah, come Coral Creek golf course in Ever Beach. Do 5 minutes, bro. Right before me, I'll let you go up." So I was like, "Oh, yeah. Shoots, bro." We go do them. I was all excited. So I started working. I started writing and trying out stuff and thinking, "Oh, I gotta perform in front of Augie T." And keep in mind, I never did do anything. No open mics, nothing. This is just in my class, performing in front of 7 people, just practicing jokes, yeah? And I'm just going off of Nick Murray's advice of telling me how to tighten up my jokes and all that. So next week comes up. I think the show is on a Friday. Next week comes up. I'm thinking, hopefully he remembers that. I don't just show up and then he says, "Oh, yeah, that's right." Hopefully he remembers. So I message him the day before. I say, "Oh, Augie, we still on for Friday, right?" ? And then he goes, "Yeah, of course. Do 10 minutes." And I'm like, "Oh, shoot. I'm over here thinking of 5 minutes. I have 5 minutes already set, and he telling me do 5 more." He goes, "Yeah, do 10 minutes. Can you got material?" He said that. I said, "Yeah, I can do 10 minutes. I can do them." I just said it, right? I take on the challenge. I'm going to do them. So this is me. I got to come up with 5 more minutes. So I only have 5 minutes of material, probably garbage material, trash. Never performed it in front of anybody except 7 people in my class. And of course, it's local comedy, and the 7 people in my class are not from Hawaii. Okay, so they don't know what's funny or not in Hawaii. I got 5 minutes because Augie T told me to prepare for 5 minutes, but now he's telling me to do 10. So I'm thinking, how the hell am I going to come up with 5 minutes in less than 24 hours? Somehow I did. Okay, I just went write up something, thought of something, some topics to share. I was all nervous. I actually had them handwritten in my pocket before I went in. I had it all written out, yeah, my set list and all that. I was reading them before I went up. I had to go to the bathroom, make doodle. I was nervous actually. I was in the bathroom of Coral Creek reading the script, reading my set list, thinking, "Oh God, come on, help me out here. All nervous. Anyway, the show starts. This is at Coral Creek. He had a monthly show over there at the golf course. I had about maybe 60 people, 60 local people, good crowd. I go on stage, do my 10 minutes. I did good. I did okay. I was surprised, they was laughing. And then once I was nervous, bro. I was nervous. I tell you that right now. I was nervous. Like almost like shaking, kind of nervous. But I sucked it up. As soon as I heard the first laugh at one of my jokes, boom, the nerves went away slowly. Then after that, I was in my groove. I was walking around the stage, making my presence. Just having fun with the audience, having fun, and I did good. Augie was there. He saw my set. I was excited. After the show, we talked. Me and Augie talked. And then he gave me a few pointers. Told me, "Yeah, you doing good, bro. This is your first time performing." Like, yeah, first time. Yeah, told me just tighten up my set, eliminate some words that you don't need, some premises that you don't need, tighten them, and just do punchline after punchline after punchline. And he told me, he's like, stay clean. I know you in clean comment, you never do anything dirty, but stay clean. That's the best decision you can make. And that's what I did. I staying clean right now. And yeah, that day, he told me, he's like, another, I think just another lucky thing just happened to me. He told me, he goes, "Oh, you like perform at the Hawaii Theater?" I was like, "Yeah, bro. Of course I like performing." He goes, "Okay, yeah, I get on concert in so and so. I think it was in like November or something, or somewhere, or it was in the summer. It was in summertime, so it was like in June, yeah, so or July. I think it was July 7th, 2017. I think that was the date. I could be wrong. I don't know, but it was around there. He goes, "Oh, yeah, I get on concert. Kivini Vaitai and shoot, what's the other name? Kivini Vaitai and frick, what is that other band? Not the Vitals, but Kivini Vaitai and some other band, some other well-known band. I don't know, but basically he wanted me to do 15 minutes before them. And I said, yeah, I'll do them. He's like, bro, just do 15 minutes before them. I pay you $100 at the Hawaii Theater. I was so stoked. I was so happy. I was like, yeah, bro, thank you, Augie. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And then from that point on, he kept inviting me to his golf course shows. He does them in Pro City, Kaneohe, Evo Beach. So I was performing there with him. And then while that right after that, I came with Jose Dynamite show. So I was rolling, I was doing all those shows. Everything was just happening so fast in my first couple months of doing comedy. Funny story about the Hawaii Theater show. So I go to that show. Augie's not there. He's in Japan or something. He's somewhere in the mainland. Basically, I'm there. I do my 15 minutes. There's like about 200 people in the crowd. 300 people. Great show. I did good, the Kivini Vaitai did good, and that other band that I can't think of did good. But basically, Augie forgot to pay me. And, that's my first big show, and I never go up to him and say, "Oh, bro, where's my $100? Where's my $100 you didn't promise, huh? Where the things stay? Where the things stay?" I never do that. I'm a humble guy. I'm not going to do that. So basically, I never asked for it. I think he honestly just forgot, but... yeah, so it's just a funny story to tell. I can tell him down the line. Yeah, my first big show with Augie T, Hawaii Theater. He told me he's gonna pay me $100. Then boom, pay. He don't pay, but that's okay. It's okay. That's all right. That's all I wanted was an experience, and I'm so happy and thankful that Augie helped me and started me off in comedy. And he started all these big names in Hawaii, like Sean Felipe. Paul Ogata, Jose Dynamite. They was all coming from Augie, and yeah, I'm happy I got to experience that. It was great. And right now I'm like 3 years into comedy, and I haven't stopped since. I'm I'm a local headliner. I headline. I actually have my own show right now at Honey's Restaurant. I do it every second Friday of the month. Um, Honey's Restaurant is located at Kolau Golf Course on the east side of the island. At downstairs, Honey's Restaurant. $10, only $10. Come down. They have great food, kid friendly. Yeah, you can bring your kids if I'm a babysitter. Um, $10. I usually have two comics perform in front of me, and I kind of shuffle them around. It's always a new two comics, and basically I'm doing that monthly show just to build my fan base and just to have a place for me to practice. Because it's kind of tough performing in town because I get all local jokes and get get like all Hollies in the crowd, and they all just look at me like on math problem or something. They just stare at me like, who is this guy over here? What does he mean, Hollies? Huh? They just look at me. They don't understand. So, I mean, yeah, they're fun to perform. I gotta learn how to perform in front of them too, but I like one local crowd, and so I kind of am making my mark at Honey's Restaurant on the east side of the island, and just rolling with that right now. I plan on maybe doing something on the west side. They don't have comedy too much, but and I got a lot of family on that side. But later on in the future, that would probably be my next step. So anyway, I'm doing that right now. I also I don't want to say too much of this because I'm kind of superstitious. I don't want to jump the gun, but I have a big show in the process in 2020. I don't want to say what it is. Just know that it's going to be at a great venue, and I'm in the process of making that happen right now. You will find out soon. Probably next year, you guys will find out. But just know that big things are going to be happening soon, and I'm excited for that. And that's also why I'm starting this podcast to kind of shine light on that and shine light on my guests that I'm going to have on here. I hope to have also, yeah, Andy Bumatai is another great mentor of mine. I first met Andy Bumatai the next day after my competition, for my class. Yeah, when I opened up for Paul Ogata, Andy Bumatai just so happened to be there, and he's my favorite comedian. He is my favorite comedian in Hawaii. I met him over there. I introduced myself. I said, "Oh, how's it, Andy? My name is Tumua. I'm a new local comic, and I highly look up to you. I've been watching you since I was a kid. I have all, I have all his stuff. I have all his albums. I have All in the Ohana. You remember that movie he made where he was all the characters: Junior Boy, Honey Girl, the dad, the mom, the grandma. He was everything except the cat. They had one cat, and he should have been the cat too. But I was happy to meet Andy. Happy to share the same stage with Andy. And even after that, we kept bumping in with each other. And about maybe a couple months ago, maybe more than that, almost a year ago, he invited me to perform with him at the Blue Note. So that was awesome. It was a comic to comic series. We basically touched bases and kind of like we both did our sets, and then we talked on stage and we talked about comedy, talked about our lives, what we have in plan, and how we live our lives. And that was an awesome experience. It's crazy that me growing up in Hawaii, you look up to these guys, Andy Bumatai and Augie T, two great comedy legends of Hawaii. And within my first 2 years, within my first couple months of comedy, I'm already working with these two guys. And I'm not bragging or anything. I'm just saying that, everything happened in within a couple months for me. And I think that's all luck. Honestly, I was all fell into the right place at the right time, being at the right place at the right time, and just being blessed. And I thank God for that. I'm a strong believer in God, and And I hope more successful things happen to me. It was great. It's been a great ride right now. I love doing comedy. I love finding new hobbies. I'm doing this podcasting right now. I never thought I'd be doing this. Never thought I'd be trying to get into radio, but it's something that I love to do, and it all revolves around stand-up comedy, I believe. And I'm excited. I'm excited for this podcast. I'm excited to bring people on this show. I hope to bring, like I said before, athletes, comedians, celebrities, actors. I feel like it's gonna work out, and I feel like it's gonna be a great experience for you guys all. I hope you guys continue to listen to me. I'm going to try to get this on all platforms. I'm going to also try film the interviews. So this one is just audio, and I apologize for that. But I'm going to try film them. Just got to find out where I can film them, probably in my room, or I can meet the guests somewhere. And yeah, I'm going to have guests on, and I'm going to talk to them. They're going to tell me their story, how they became successful, what they did to become successful, and hopefully you guys can take bits and pieces of their story, of their success, and provide that in your life. Because again, people, the hardest thing to do is start. Whatever you have, whatever goal, whatever plan, whatever mission you have, just start them already. Yeah, I've been talking about doing this podcast for a while, and last month I said, you know what, I'm gonna start them already. I'm gonna start them, and that's what I'm doing today. This is episode 1, Talking with Tumua. How's that name, huh? Took me a while to come up with a name. I was only on the Tumua podcast, but I was like, too plain. I guess Talking with Tumua is kind of even the same amount of plainness, but hey, it's okay. It's just a name, and the main thing is to get these episodes out right now. So this is episode number 1. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you for listening to this whole thing. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Whoever's listening to this, keep listening to this. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram at TUMUA_. Yeah, come to my shows. My next show is December 13th, Friday night at Honey's Restaurant. End the year with one bang, one good laugh. Come on down, and thank you guys for listening. Talking with Tumua, episode 1. Aloha, mahalo nui. All right.